What you're looking at right now is real footage twisted through the power of AI.
And look, I'm not here to tell you that AI is the answer to everything. I'm just a content creator and filmmaker testing a tool. And honestly, the speed at which this is evolving is kind of insane. So I just wanted to show you what's actually possible right now. In this video, we're going to explore 6 different techniques to mix AI with real footage. And I'll be straight with you, some of this stuff is a lot more impressive than I expected. And some of it might even make you a little bit uncomfortable. Now, I already know that some of you are going to love this and some of you are going to hate it. So while you're watching this video, why don't you tell me what your opinion is down in the comments, because I would really love to know what you guys think of this. The first shot we're looking at is all real footage mixed with a pretty simple AI technique. Here's how it works. I put the camera on a tripod and filmed a shot of myself doing some of the finest acting seen on YouTube. Then I filmed the exact same shot without me in it, with the focus still locked onto the same spot. That's our clean plate. I brought everything into DaVinci Resolve, did a basic Rec 709 grade on it, and exported a still frame from that clean plate. Then over in Higgsfield, I headed over to Nano Banana Pro, uploaded that still frame, and prompted it to keep everything the same but make the house collapse. This is what I ended up with, and now I can start creating the background video. Now, there are a few ways you can do this inside of Higgsfield, but what worked best for me was Cinema Studio. I basically uploaded my original still as the start frame and the newly generated collapsed house as the end frame. And I think this is the part right here that really makes the difference, because instead of just relying on a pure text-based prompt, I'm giving the model a visual start and end state. And that gives me much more control, and the results are going to be noticeably better. I gave it a prompt saying that I wanted to keep everything the same as in the original shot, and after a few seconds the building would collapse and end up like my end frame. And I actually got this result from the first try, which is pretty good, I'd say. Now, it definitely does not always work from the first try. Sometimes you'll have to generate a few times to get exactly what you want. You can think of each generation like a different take on set. Sometimes you nail it from the first go, and sometimes you're on take 12 wondering what the heck went wrong. From there, I brought that footage back into DaVinci Resolve, placed it underneath the original clip of me, and used DaVinci's magic mask to mask myself out. And that's pretty much it. Of course, the cleaner your mask, the cleaner your result is going to be. But with this technique, you can really take it in a lot of different directions, and the creative ceiling is basically as high as your imagination. Now, you can also use similar techniques to change parts of your environment by mixing parts of your real footage with AI-generated surroundings tailored specifically for your shot. Here we've got a shot where I'm sitting on the couch and walking over towards the window. I want to keep the couch, the window, and of course myself, but I want to make the room a bit more interesting. I'm going to take a still frame from this shot and bring it into Nano Banana Pro again. I tell it what I want to change, and crucially, I also tell it exactly what I want to keep. If you skip that part, the AI can go rogue and change too much. Once I've got something I'm happy with, I paint myself out of the frame directly inside Nano Banana, and this gives us a clean background plate. Now, you could stop here and use this as a static background, however, we can take it up a notch. I'll bring this empty shot into Higgsfield Cinema Studio and again tell it everything I want unchanged, and ask it to animate the TV screen, for example. And now, instead of a static background image, I've actually got an animated background video. I'll bring that into DaVinci Resolve, and instead of using Magic Mask to mask myself out, I'm going to use a power window to mask out the entire window, because that's what I want to keep in this shot.
Aha! Finally! I'm alive! Oh, that feels good. Anyway, moving on. This next section is all about visual effects, but this guy here will explain the rest.
Before AI, if you wanted to get any kind of visual effects in your shot, you had to learn all kinds of complicated software, and in some cases, you also needed a lot of computing power. Now, AI hasn't replaced that, but it's opened the door for creators who've never had access to those tools before. Let me show you what I mean. Again, we're starting off from a real shot. I'm gonna grab a still frame right here when I look straight into the camera. I bring that into Nano Banana Pro and prompt it with something like extreme close-up of the person's eyes, but their eyeballs are white. And as you can tell, you sometimes do get weird results. But this one was exactly what I was looking for. Next, I'll head over to Kling 3.0 video generation. I'll upload my original still frame as my start frame, and that close-up shot we just generated is going to be my end frame. My prompt basically describes a continuous push in towards the eyes, where the person closes and opens them, and when they open them, their eyes have turned white. You can see it did take a few generations to get what I wanted, but this is the one I went with.
Everything goes quiet. And then I see it all.
Now, are actual VFX and a pro VFX artist going to be better than this? Well, yes, of course, for now at least. Anyway, let me show you one more. I've got two still frames here, one with my arm turned in one direction and one with it turned the other way. I'll take the second frame into Nano Banana Pro and ask it to turn my arm into water. Once I've got an image that I'm happy with, I'll upload that as my end frame in Kling 3.0 and the first still frame as my start frame. Then all we need is a simple prompt like the person's arm turns into a liquid water-like state. And because I've got my arm turned in one direction as the start frame and in the other direction as the end frame, there's natural motion built into the transition, which is going to help sell the effect. So this is going to be a quick technique, but it's using AI to create impossible transitions. The kind of moves that would normally require a motion control rig or a full VFX pipeline to get the job done. Now for this to work, you need to pre-visualize your shots a bit. So here my first shot is looking through the trash can as I'm sitting on the bench. And my second shot is going to be an over-the-shoulder shot, looking at my phone. And I made sure to keep the focal point in the center of the shot for both of them. That's going to help with a smooth transition. Now I'll just take the last frame from the first shot and the first frame from the second shot. I'll throw these into Kling 3.0 as my start and end frame and then describe how I want the transition to be. You can play around with different prompts and different models to see what it comes up with, and you're not always going to get the best results, but I found that most of the time it actually works really well. The golden rule here is, however, to shoot with the transition in mind. The more intentional you are on set, the better these things are going to work and the shots are going to feel much cooler and more natural.
Now we've already seen how we can use AI to change our location in a more traditional way. However, Cinema Studio 3.0 is so insanely good at motion control and honestly takes this way beyond what I thought was even possible.
So step one is to record a video of you walking or driving or basically doing whatever you want. Step two is to create our new location. So head over to any of the image generation models on Higgsfield and give it a prompt describing your desired location. I, for example, generated these ones in Higgsfield Seoul Cinema. Then in Higgsfield Cinema Studio 3.0, or by now version 3.5, upload your original video and select the location image you generated. Now all you need is a pretty basic prompt, making sure you explain what you want to keep and that you wanted to change the location to the image. And honestly, the results I got here were seriously impressive. Whether you like AI or not, this is pretty nuts. Alright, the last thing I want to show you is not so much directly related to filmmaking, but I wanted to add it in here because it really did surprise me. I'll upload a logo that I want to animate to Higgsfield Cinema Studio and write a prompt describing what kind of animation I want. I found it helpful to use an LLM like Claude to assist me with turning my thoughts into a better prompt. You can decide on the length of the animation or whether or not you wanted to add sound design as well. And as easy as that, you're now able to animate logos with minimal effort and get great results for branding, intros, or social content. So those are just 6 ways you can start mixing AI with real footage right now. But the thing I kept realizing is this isn't the ceiling. every few months these tools take another leap. What you've seen in this video is just a snapshot of where we are today. And I know people are very divided when it comes to AI. Some of you see this as the most exciting creative unlocking in a generation, while others feel like it's pulling at something that maybe shouldn't be pulled at. And I think both of those opinions are worth hearing, so feel free to let me know in the comments where you stand. Are you excited? Are you worried? Are you afraid? And have you been experimenting with these tools yourself? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!